best-selling author of The Pimp Game. As seen on National Geographic series Trafficked. The one who tells it like it is, Mickey Royal.
Let's dive right into it and tell it like it is. So recently I've been seeing all this press about the Tupac stuff, Keefe D, so on and so forth. And I was Keefe D's bodyguard, I think 2014 or 2015, either or was at Wasco State Prison, you know, so let's just start from the beginning, how I got there. And I'm gonna speed past that so we can get to the meat of the story. No one needs to know the hows and whys, but yeah, I was convicted of 3 counts of attempted murder, but you know, like I know how to play the game, dig? So I stayed in county for about a year fighting it, but I knew I was going to be found guilty. I was literally caught red-handed at the scene, covered in blood, you know. So there's no way I was going to beat that case. So it wasn't a question of if I was going to plead guilty, it was when and under what circumstances. So I told the DA after about a year of sitting in LA County, 8,000 floor this time. Anybody who's been up there, they know what the 8,000 floor is. No need to get into it. Mickey was in the Browns this time. I'm a little older than I used to be. No more blues, occasionally the yellows, but once the orange, twice the orange, but it's Browns from now on. And anybody who's familiar with Boucher Street know what I'm talking about. Give me a break, I'm 51 years old. But anyway, so after about, you know, going back and forth, you go back and forth, you turn down the offers because the way the game is played is you just keep denying the deal. They keep offering you deals, they bring you into court every 60 days, something like that. You keep saying no. And I knew there was no way I could beat this case. I mean, I had several witnesses, the police. So there was no way I was getting away from this. But you stay in county because they give you day for day. They give you 2 days to 1, sometimes 3 days to 1. So if you know you're going away and you're about to do a stretch, dig, you stay in county as long as possible, like Suge did. That way, if you're in county jail for 2 years, when you hit the main line, when you go to the pen, that's 4 years worth of credit you already have. So if you got to do 10 years, that's 4 years worth of credit you already have, so you're only looking at 6. Now, if you're doing 80% of 10 years is 8, you hit the main line with 4 years. On a 10-year sentence, you're only doing 4 years. That's barely enough time to take a nap. So, anyway, when I got called in, you go every 2 months, every 2, 3 months, whatever, your court dates, they just keep extending them. But here's the thing, you keep telling them you want to go to trial. And that's what I did, but I've been doing this game since I was 13 years old. I'm 51 years old, so what's that, 38 years? Get me doing math. Yeah, forgive me, I was in high school 6 years. 9th, 10th, 11th, 11th, 12th, and 12th. Yeah, so you gotta forgive me. Yeah, that's 38 years, so. Anyway, how it went down was, when I met with the DA, and I was already going to take a deal, but not for what he wanted. He wanted me to plead guilty to 3 counts of attempted murder. I was looking at 15 to life, and then the best he could do was 12. I was already around 30, how old was I? 39 at the time. I wasn't going to do 12 years, so I said, look, check this out. You just want a guilty conviction on your record. I will plead guilty to the max, but not that charge, because I don't talk to lawyers. I'm past lawyers. Like I told him, I've been getting arrested longer than you've been practicing law. I've been dealing with this much longer than you've been practicing law. You know, so he was in his 30s. I'm like, my first arrest in 1985, I don't think you were even born yet. You know, so so what he said was, I said, if you drop the charge, I'll take a guilty plea right here, right now. or we're going to go to trial. Now I was just bluffing because I had nothing to go to trial with. Like I said, I was literally caught red-handed, covered in blood by the police. So there's no way I was going to beat this case. And I'm already struck up, so yeah, 15 to life, 12, 10 would have been a deal. I would have taken 10 maybe, but I don't do that kind of time, so I said we'll make a deal. So he dropped the charges from 3 counts of attempted murder to 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with great bodily injury. And he told me, he said, because they call you in on Monday. That's the last. They'll tell you this is the last deal. Take it or leave it. We'll give you 12. I said no. We're going to trial. Trials. They start picking jury on Friday. That's a bluff. This is how it works. All trust me. I've many of these. So when it comes to that's Monday. You come back to county jail. You're not on the docket anymore. You're going to show up again Friday so you can start picking jury with your attorney. Wednesday, they come to your cell about 4 in the morning and they bring you back to court. You're not even on the schedule. You're not on the docket. They bring you back. This is the very last deal. Because once they start picking jury, that's it. There's no more deals on the table. So once they call me in Wednesday, went all the way back to Lancaster Court. Y'all know Avenue M. And the DA told me, he said, this is what we're going to do. 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, great bodily injury, and we'll waive a strike. I said, okay. He said, now, when you come to court Friday, we're not picking jury. I expect you to plead guilty. That's it. Remember, I'm still a county at this time. And I said, my word is my bond. And he said, if you try that funny stuff and plead not guilty, after I've already dropped the charge down, because once he drops the charge down to assault with a deadly weapon, great bodily injury, he can't bump it back up to attempted murder. So I can always renege on a deal. He said, if you renege on this deal, let me give you a little hint. Your parole officer hasn't even been born yet. Because I knew if I go to court and I lose, I'm basically looking at life, and I can get life without because of my record. So it was like, we're going to make it that way. I said, I gave you my word, man. So we came to court, of course. I pled guilty. And that's assault with a deadly weapon, GBI. I tell you, in the first Pimp game, they said, what's the difference between assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder? I said, a good lawyer. It's the exact same thing. But it's about 15 years between the two. But the only difference is your lawyer. You got a public defender, it's probably it's probably attempted murder. As soon as you get a better lawyer, that can turn down to assault with a deadly weapon. It can turn down to, because this has happened to me before. I don't tell you things that are Googleable. Everything that I say out of my mouth, either I experienced it or I witnessed it. Other than that, I just tell you I don't know. I don't do rumors. This ain't the beauty shop. This ain't the barber shop. I don't cackle about rumors. I just tell it like it is. So I was in the courtroom, and the judge, it was Judge Chung. Y'all know Judge Chung, Lancaster Court, Avenue M. I think they moved, it's male and female. I think they moved the husband into LA recently, what I heard. You gotta understand what year this is. So we're talking about, 2014 maybe? 2013, 2014, something like that. So, damn, that was a long time ago. Anyway, I digress. So I came to the court, and she was like, this is the wife, Judge Chung. It's 2 of them, male and female, their husband and wife. It's only 2 in the criminal court at Lancaster, where Harry O got his case, ironically. But it's the Chungs, Lancaster. They call it Clancaster for a reason. Everybody gets the max. But anyway, she said, do you agree to the charges? I said, yeah, because I knew what the max was going to be. You can't send me away for life with assault with a deadly weapon, great bodily injury or not. Now, the people that, I won't say the word victims, because I had to do what I had to do. But if any one of those 3 had died, then the deal's off the table, because now it turns into murder 1. And there won't be a deal. Not for a man like me with a record as extensive as mine. That's it. I've been looking to avoid a death penalty case, and I would have probably fought for 20, 25 years to life. No, 20, 25 years flat instead of to life, because it would probably carry life without. So if I could have got that down to 20 years, that's doing good. So fortunately, it was critical at one point, but nobody died. So here I am. So the judge said, I'm Mickey Royal, but my first name and my last name is the same. It's just I have a Russian first name. My last name is Arabic, but my last name is royalty in English. So she was like, Mr. Sharif. I said, yes, Judge. Yes, Your Honor. She said, with your attitude, you're going to be in prison forever. And I said, you don't have the power to send me to prison forever. You only have the power to send me to prison for the rest of my natural life. I don't plan on living forever. And she started laughing, and I started laughing. But I noticed the more she laughed, the lesser my sentence got. So I was like Rodney Dangerfield damn near in there. So, and she said, well, you're going to die in prison. And I said, as opposed to dying at home, or dying in a mansion, or dying in Buckingham Palace, I said, let me explain something to you. It's not, I have a problem with the dying. The location is irrelevant. I said, when you die, you're probably going to be in your bed surrounded by 4 white walls. I'll be in my bunk surrounded by 4 gray walls. So we're not talking about a question of dying here. We're talking about a question of colors. White or gray. It really doesn't matter. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, the only difference between my death and your death is that my walls will be gray and yours will be white. We'll be both just as dead. Time ticks one way, and death is permanent. I said, so, and seeing how I'm a little younger than you, I'll probably outlive you. And she just started laughing. I started laughing. And she said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 3 years. Maximum security, of course, because of my record, but they said, because I have too many prison points. And she said, 3 years, and I'll send you to fire camp. Well, if anybody knows me, I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I'm on insulin, so I can't go to fire camp. I didn't know that at the time. Plus, I wouldn't have wanted to go anyway, because I was almost 40 at the time, and fire camp is for 21-year-olds. So then the DA stood up and said, Your Honor, at the time of this, at the time of this case, he was already on felony probation for another violent encounter, because at that point they tried to give me assault with a deadly weapon, and it didn't have GBI, even though there was GBI, and they sentenced me to a year, and I did about 8 months on that. I got out 6 weeks later. I caught this other case, another assault with a deadly weapon or attempted murder, however you want to look at it. But so I was only out 6 weeks between those two cases. So when he said that, he said the minimum we can give him is 5 years. You can't give him 3 years. And I looked at the DA and I said, thank you for that. Thank you. Because she was just about, she said, ooh, I almost made a mistake. I said, there's no lesson you can teach me in 5 years that I can't learn in 3. So it is what it is. And she was like, I like your attitude, Mr. Schroeder. I said, what difference does it make? I said, if I have a bad attitude, is it going to lower my sentence? She said, no. I said, if I have a good attitude, is it going to lower my sentence? She said, no. I said, I might as well have a good attitude. I said, what difference does it make? It's time to go do time. And she said, do you have anything else to say to the court? I said, yeah. When I get out the pen, my abs are going to be magnificent. And she said, that's the spirit. And I was walking out, I said, one more thing, Your Honor. Love the suit, Clarice. And she just said, get out of here. We just started laughing and stuff like that, because I have a thing with acceptance. It is what it is, you know. I went down there looking at maybe 15 to life, and I walked out of there with 5 years. So I figured that was cool, you know. But the deal wouldn't have been there if any one of those people had died. Like he said, if they die, all bets are off. It turns into murder one, and you will die in prison because of your record, because you're already on felony probation, supervised after a violent encounter. You got out of county jail, you were on probation for 6 weeks, and then you caught another 3 counts of attempted murder cases. They're like, you know, you don't get it. I said, no, I'm a little hard-headed since 13, but no, I don't get it. I give lessons, I don't get them. So anyway, Once I went back to 8,000 floor, you know, I told everybody what's happening, you know. And the trip part is, I got the lightest sentence of that day. Most of the dudes I was on that bus with going back to county, they had, one dude had 37 years, the rest of them all got life. So I was ashamed to even say I had 5 years, because I'm listening to their stories, and you're in court with some of them, but the ones that you didn't see, because they call you out one at a time, and sometimes you pile up in the court, you're behind that glass and everything, so you listen to other people's cases. But anyway, so when we shipped off, they sent me to mainline Wasco, and that's where I met Keefe D. We didn't call him Keefe D. He was our MAC rep. We didn't call him Keefe D. His name was KD. They call it, the COs called him Mr. Davis, because they call everybody by the last name. Because like I said, and on the yard he was KD, so I called him KD. And what you call it, I'm not Mickey Royal when I go to prison. You call me one name. You just call me Sharif. That's what they call me over the loudspeaker. That's my government last name. Sharif, Alpha X-Ray 0402. That's my name. So he's Davis, I'm Sharif. But I call him KD, you know, because I don't give people too many names to memorize. What you hear the COs call me, you can call me that. You can call me anything you like but collect, dig? So how it went down was, when I first got there, we had a former MAC rep. KD took over maybe a couple of weeks after that, because he got shipped out. When I got my bedroll, he gave me a shank up under it, and he said, it's going down tonight. I said, oh, okay, like that. So I went immediately and laced them up. You know, this ain't my first ride, this ain't my first rodeo. I've been doing this a long ass time. So, when KD officially, I'm not gonna tell you what happened after that, because everything ain't meant to be known, you know. All this exposing, this is not an expose, because exposing doesn't mean anything to me but dry snitching. And that's something that Mickey doesn't do. My hypocrisy goes on this so far. So when KD took over as MAC rep, he had a bodyguard. His name was Shakur. Anybody on the LA streets know this dude. He's from rolling 40s. He's about 6'7". I only know people's last names because that's what you're called over the loudspeaker. I know his first name. His last name is Shakur. He's about 6'7". You can't miss him. Like I said, if you off of Crenshaw, going up towards Western, anything past, I would say, Slauson, King Boulevard, you know this dude. You can't. He's like 6'7", 6'8". I mean, it's not too many people like that walking around. Anyway, he was KD's bodyguard. So anywhere KD went, he went. Now, how did I become Keefe D's bodyguard? Some ish went down. I'm not giving up no gossip or shit like that, because, like I said, I'm not a female at the beauty shop. I don't gossip. I just tell it like it is. And I don't put nobody's name through the dirt. Some shit went down with Shakur and Hawk from 9 Deuce Hoover. And some stuff went down that shouldn't have went down, and next thing you know, Shakur got transferred off the yard to another yard. He was still at Wasco, but he was on another yard. So KD didn't have no bodyguard at that time. And then something happened in the other dorm with some alcohol and the Southsiders, whatever. And so it was rumored that things was going to go down tonight. And at Wasco, we were terribly outnumbered, so we had this powwow. All the brothers, we had the meeting, and KD was conducting the meeting, and he said, if they charge at us, we come behind these go by these bleachers, these things, people can't step over them. So it slows down the charge, and we can get our stick on. I said, let me get this straight. And I just butted in. I didn't even know him in real. I said, let me get this straight. Our plan of attack is retreat. I said, no, let me explain something to you. The larger organized group will always defeat the smaller unorganized group. I said, we're going to organize right here and now. We're going to get chain of command, and we're going to order preemptive strikes. If anyone knows my background, you know my background with the Russians. You know my background, who my parents were. You know my background as a former FOI. You know my background as a former banger. I said, no. That's not what we do. I said, the way you take out anything, buildings, businesses, we hit the pillars first. We're going to hit the main MAC reps and the shot callers first tonight. If they're coming in the morning, right after morning chow, and we do a preemptive strike tonight, right after the final count, I said, on my command, You'll see me hold up 2 fingers. I'm gonna hit the one next to me, you hit the one next to you, you hit the other pillar. I said the rest of them will just fall. I said, and that's when we do it. We're gonna do it in the dark because we're hard to see in the dark. I said, we're not gonna fight in the daylight. We're gonna attack at night, about 2 in the morning, right after final count. And that's when KD looked at me and said, whatever your name, I want you to be my bodyguard from now on. I said, no problem. And everyone knows about, I have 4 black belts in 4 different styles. I'm not going to tell you what degrees, that's not important. Just know that I started off with Steve Muhammad at age 14 and I've never stopped and I'm 51 years old. Black Karate Federation, FOI, but yeah, 4 different styles. So, and my boxing, and I've told him, man, I've been shot twice, been in more prison riots than you got fingers and toes, man. And stabbed more times than I'd like to mention. Both times in my sleep. It's never awake. Well, the second time didn't come yet. That's a different story for another time. That was 4.5 years later. Both times I was sound asleep. How they pop that cell door on you, but anybody who's an experienced convict understands about popping that cell door on you when you sleep. You know how that goes down? That's another story. We're going to stick to the subject. So while we were at Wasco, Keefe D and I got kind of close, because I was always with him. When he went to the shower, I had to stand outside and watch him. Because the MAC reps from every different group showered alone because they're a constant target. And like I told Kitty, ain't nobody getting past me, man. They don't have my training. And they don't have the exercise. They may be shooters on the street. But like I said, my 3 counts of attempted murder, that was with a knife, not a gun. I'm more dangerous with knives than I have guns because I have more training. The guys that quote unquote I perpetrated this against, all 3 of them, 2 of them had guns. Before he concocted the hammer back, his spleen, he was already bleeding. The other one, his eyes were removed. I mean, I do this. I've been doing this all my life. I've been trained all my life. If you go onto my website, you'll know who my parents were. You'll know, like I said, my father's Russian military by way of Mali, Northern Africa. So this is not hard for me. I've been skinning deer since I was 9 years old. So this is not hard for me. So me with a knife is way more dangerous than me with a gun. So in prison we had nothing but knives. So I was teaching them how to actually use them and which proper techniques you should use when you flip around. I mean, it's a lot, so I said, they're not going to get past me, KD. I promise you that. If it's 3 of them, it'd just be 3 bodies laying down bleeding, like it was when I caught this case. So he would take a shower. I would stand there, but I would shower by myself. But he would stand there because we're walking together all the time. We hit the main yard. He would get on my shoulders, and I would do squats with him on my shoulders. But when we went up, he would grab, because you understand, he was in his 50s. He grabbed the pull-up bar, and he would do a pull-up and come back to my shoulders. I would do a squat, come back up. So, yeah, if you run into KD or Keefe D, he knows Sharif from Wasco, a.k.a. the loyal Mickey Royal, author of The Pimp Game and 7 other novels. So, some other stuff went down. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, one thing I can say about Keefe D, he's an honest man, he's a loyal man, and I hate to see this happening to him. Supposedly a deal was made, and he's supposed to have immunity to what went down. I didn't know him during the Tupac days. He's Southside Compton. I'm from the west side of Inglewood. We would have never, my brother, when we were in high school, we did have a Compton Connect, but that was Compton Pyrus, 155 and 151. We did a little bit in the Nickersons, but it was always according to that blood count. My brother would never deal with Crips. I did, because once I got into certain business, especially once I hit the Nation of Islam and became an FOI, I didn't see none of that red-blue stuff. I wasn't concerned with none of that. If you was my partner, you was my partner. I don't care where you was from. But my brother, on the other hand, he's a little different. He's 3 years older than me, and he literally eats, sleep, and breathes the B, So he don't care if you had $20 million. He's not going to sit down with a Crip. So, again, our connections in high school, before I joined the Nation, were 151, 155. We dabbled with some bounty hunters and some Denver Lanes, not PDL, but Denver Lanes off Imperial in Vermont. But yeah, Keefe D's not a liar, I can tell you that. But he told me a lot of things, and I used to tell him, KD, I don't need to know this. That way if anyone ever gives me a lie detector test, I can say I don't know and I'll pass. I said, I could be a rat. You don't know nothing about me. I said, don't just be sharing information like this, man. You don't know these people. And he told me he had prostate cancer and he'll be dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. I said, look, let me tell you something. I know 5 people who've had prostate cancer. They all survived. I said, it's not the same as pancreas cancer. I said, pancreas cancer, you get your affairs in order. You're out of here in a few weeks. I said, prostate? I said, my father had prostate cancer. They just removed 2 feet of his bowels, sewed him up, and sent him on his way. I said, Ronald Reagan survived prostate cancer. Shout out to my man, Grandmaster Alonzo from the Wrecking Crew. Grandmaster Alonzo survived prostate cancer. Louis Farrakhan survived prostate cancer. I said, so everybody I know who's had prostate cancer, they live. I mean, Ronald Reagan eventually died from Alzheimer's, but he survived the prostate cancer surgery. I said, I wouldn't be saying all of that, but, no judging, nothing like that. But did he whack Tupac or was he the gunman? I don't know and I don't care. All I know is we hooked up with Wasco and we got down and I had to protect him and I had his back. He had mine too. I still owe him for a chip. I had a Crescent Star medallion handmade, like how some of the inmates, they get the cursive crosses. So I wanted a star and crescent on mine, but I was a little short, so he gave me a chili suit to give this Latino brother, and he made the Crescent Star for me. But by the time we went to store and I can give him his suit back, KD is already going home. I had like 3 or 4 years left, so they transferred me to Chino, and I have a ton of Chino stories, but we're not going to get into that. So, not right now. But yeah, and that's all I can say as far as Wasco is concerned. But KD is a good man. He's an honest man. And I hope he comes home soon. I hope he gets out of this mess. Once Mickey Royal is down with you, that's how I got the name of Loyal Mickey Royal. Once I'm down with you, I'm down with you. But a lot of the interesting things we talked about, I cannot share with you. But he's a good dude. And as far as I know, there was a federal deal made, and he should be exempt from prosecution. I'm not going to talk too much about it because he's currently on trial now, or going through the court system now, so I'm not going to throw that out there. But yeah, he's a good person. He's an honest person. He's not a liar. He's not a backstabber. He's not a snake in the grass. Do I trust KD? Yes, I do. Still now. Because when you're living in close quarters with a person, you get to know them. So whether the puppy stuff went down or the Tupac and all of that, that's back from 1996. 1996, if you read my book Along for the Ride, I was just coming back into the streets in 1996. Did not know anything about it. I haven't owned a television in 15, 16 years. I don't watch TV, and I don't really listen to that kind of music. So that's not relevant to me. He told me a lot of stuff, and I told him, dude, I don't feel I'm locked up. I feel the rest of the world is locked out. So as far as I'm concerned, Wasco State Prison is my life until I transfer either to, I'm either going to San Quentin, I'm going to Chino, or I'm going to CRC. So I said, the rest of the world's locked out. This is my world. If it's not Wasco related, I have no interest in it. I have no interest in the outside world because I know how to do time. I don't think about my women out there, my money, cars that were lost, anything like that. I can't think about that. I can't think about my children. I can't think about those things. I'm in here. It's you and me. I'm watching your back and your front. If it goes down, which it did a couple of times, and I'm not going to get into that. Not in this talk. But if it goes down, I'll drop them. Other than that, we're playing dominoes. So yeah, KD is a good dude. Keefe is a good dude. And I hate to see what's happening to him. I hate to see the press that got him all wrong. War, conflict, the game, the streets, it makes for strange bedfellows and sometimes strange enemies. You know how the U.S. may go against Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, but support Al-Qaeda in Iraq to go against Iraq? It gets complicated like that. So sometimes behind the wall, your main enemies from the street are your right-hand men behind the wall. the streets and the prison got two different sets of rules, two different sets of policies, a whole different game. So it is what it is. But like I said, you get to know somebody. Keefe D's a good dude, and I have nothing bad to say about him. And I hope he gets out of this. He doesn't deserve it. And I'm just talking about him personally. Like I said, that Puffy, Tupac, I wasn't there. I don't do rumors, I don't do opinions. I tell it like it is, and we just do facts here. So until next time. Ciao.
And there you have it. Subscribe, like, share, and support the channel for more groundbreaking content.
Mickey Royal, the pimpin'est man on the planet, you dig? Keep representing this gang. From the chairman of the board, recently anointed Pimp God, Chet.